Hello, my name is Nicholas Stewart. My colleagues are Mike Orlando, James Tyson, and Mike Usher. Our topic is risk management. What is risk management? Risk management deals with risk, the risk factor, and the risk events. As part of leadership, several questions must be asked when addressing strategic risk management, such as what is the overall strategic objective of the organization? How do we as an organization respond to such risk? What is defined in our strategic risk management plans or process? What are the inherent risks in their strategy and how do we address it? Strategic risk is the uncertainty and untapped opportunities embedded in your strategy, your strategic event, and how they are executed. Strategic risk management is the process in which business strategies identifies, assess, and manage risks within their organization. The assessment process is how we understand the strategies of the organization. Use of strategic risk management. Strategic risk management deals with identifying the risks, analyzing the risks, and responding to the risk. There are 5 categories of strategic risk management: strategy, risk, process, measure, and govern. Strategies deals with a risk scorecard that is provided by the company to help view and track these uncertainties experienced by employees and clients to reduce risk and increase performances. It is that strategic way of integrating best business practice of strategy, risk, process, and performance measure into one management system. The risk factor focus on how each of those risks are impacting your overall strategic objective. Based on how important they are in terms of impact and probability from high, medium to low, we can then develop a risk profile. The process focuses on linking core processes and projects to strategic and risk. By focusing on the idea of Six Sigma, we can begin to determine and understand which processes are triggering risk and to what extent. Measurement deals with teams who use predictive key risk indicators, key performance indicator, control effective indicators to provide deliverables and customize reports to stakeholders to help with the decision-making process. Governance is the implementation of those risks. Leadership use these tools to explain and implement their strategic risk process.
Operational risk is a risk that affects a project deliverable, and that can include business processes, people risk, system risk, as well as external events. Operational risk management is a decision-making tool used by people on all levels to increase operational effectiveness. It also increases the ability to make informed decisions as well as minimize risk to acceptable levels. So the United States Department of Defense summarizes the principles of operational risk management: only accept risk when benefits outweigh the costs, never accept any unnecessary risk, anticipate and manage your risk by planning ahead, manage risk decisions at the correct levels. So the 3 levels of operational risk management: you have the in-depth level, which is extremely thorough risk assessment, and it's used before the project is implemented. It's used to more thoroughly study the hazards and their associated risks in a complex operation. The deliberate level is used at routine periods throughout the implementation of a project to aid in planning and operation or evaluating procedures. The time-critical level is used during operational exercises or the execution of tasks, as well as planning during crisis response scenarios. It's used by experienced personnel as well as senior managers to consider risk while making decisions under a time constraint. So the 5 steps of operational risk management: you want to identify your hazards and then assess the hazards. You can then make your risk decisions and then implement controls. Once these first 4 steps are completed, you're able to supervise your entire risk management process. So key areas associated with risk management: first, you have planning risk management, identifying risks, performing qualitative and quantitative risk analysis, planning risk responses, and controlling risk. Planning risk management is the process of deciding how to approach risk management activities and plan for them throughout the project. The main output of this process is the risk management plan. You also have contingency plans as well as fallback plans. The contingency plans are predefined actions that the project team will take if an identified risk occurs, and the fallback plans are developed for risks that have a high impact on meeting project objectives and are put into effect if attempts to reduce the risk do not work. So just some key outputs here. You have the risk management plan, the risk breakdown structure, as well as the risk register. All three of these are used throughout your risk management process.
The next up is financial risk. Financial risk pretty much is like, can the organization afford to undertake the project? How confident are stakeholders in the financial projections? Will the project meet MPV, ROI, and payback estimates? Is this project the best way to use the organization's financial resources? For management reserves, that's basically the funds held for unknown risks that are used for management control purposes. For contingency reserves, they are the funds included in the cost baseline that can be used to mitigate cost or schedule overruns if known risks occur. For market risk, it's if the IT project will create a new product or service. Will it be useful to the organization or marketable to others? Will users accept and use the product or service? Will someone else create a better product faster, making the project a waste of time and money, basically obsolete? For technology risk, is the project technically feasible? Will it use mature leading edge technologies? When will decisions be made on which technology to use? Will hardware, software, and network function properly? For identifying risks, the process of understanding what potential events might hurt or enhance a particular project. Some of the ideas would be brainstorming, Delphi technique, interviewing, and then you would finish that off with a SWOT analysis.
When performing a risk analysis, you can use the following tools: qualitative and quantitative analysis, probability impact matrix or chart, decision trees, simulations or the Monte Carlo analysis, sensitivity analysis, and planning risk responses. And finally, controlling risk deals with ensuring the entire project team is aware of their responsibilities until the project is finished. A risk assessment, risk audits, and outputs that include the change requests and updates to project management plan.